G'day, everybody. Welcome to the Fast Bowling Cartel podcast. This is where the big quicks have plenty of opinions, and we don't allow any batters on this podcast. I'm Damien Fleming, joined as always by two legends, the master of the line and length himself, Glenn McGrath, and Mr. 201, Jason Gillespie. How are you, boys?
Yeah, good, Flem. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Flem. Good to see you, Pidge.
You too, Diz. You're probably wondering why I've gone all out with a nice orange shirt. Bit Larry,
it's a bit loud for you, Pidge.
But so it's not my fault. It's my wife's. So Sarah, being Italian-American and throwing a bit of Latino as well, obviously it's Chinese New Year. And so apparently we've got to wear red or within the sort of shade version. Yeah. So apparently orange is okay. So I've been told I have to wear an orange or a red shirt on the podcast today. And my father always said, happy wife, happy life. So I'm doing my best. Yeah. So that's why I've got it. You may have thought it was because Netherlands
we
are
know
playing
who
India.
Wears the shirts in your family.
Exactly. But you might have thought, Netherlands are playing India coming up, going for the Netherlands to get up. But no, that's the reason behind it. But as you can see, nice and plain, just why I like it, just for you boys.
It matches the number and the Tendulkar 10 on that shirt on the behind you, Pidge. The orange there, beautiful. Very good.
What have you done,
wearing the Happy Gilmore, mate. Let's go. We love our Happy.
Is that number 76?
I'm actually doing shirt.
Happy Gilmore
I'm doing shirt shopping soon. I'm going to get some fresh ones. I'm thinking maybe an 80s theme with some shirts. What do you got on, Flem? What are you wearing?
It looks familiar.
Well, the World Cup theme, 1999 World Cup in England, and it's nice and light. So as I was describing when I wore the 1996 World Cup shirt there where we played in India and Pakistan, it was as heavy as carpet. In the cold conditions in England, this is the lightest shirt I ever wore.
Yeah. Perfect.
So you probably would have wanted one of those heavier shirts in England to keep yourself warm.
I just remember the slippers had the hand warmers, which you guys would have noted in county cricket and all that sort of stuff. But interesting, Pidge, we had a crisis meeting after 3 games in that World Cup. We lost to New Zealand and Pakistan.
Yeah.
Our only win was against a full-strength Scottish team that I like to say. I think that they took up cricket about a month before the tournament. But we had the crisis meeting. You went back to opening bowling with myself, and Buff took over number 6, and Tommy Moody, the all-rounder. But overnight, the Australians are in similar difficulties, aren't they, at Pallekali Stadium there against Sri Lanka? Not a bad start. Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh did their jobs with really, really quick 50s. But to collapse... We collapsed. 181 on paper looks okay, but when you only score about a run and ball off the last 4, and then Nasanka, the Sri Lankan opener, just a brilliant 100. So Australia now have to rely on Ireland beating Afghanistan to qualify for the Super 8 stage.
Is it? Or is
and
it
things
Zimbabwe?
Didn't start well.
I thought they're playing Zimbabwe, Flem.
Who do I say?
No, it is Zimbabwe,
Ireland have to beat Zimbabwe. Yeah. Who do I say?
Afghanistan, close, but
Sri Lanka, was it?
Completely different, but that's okay.
Yeah, close.
Close, but absolutely nowhere near. Yeah.
They're actually not that close together, no. But
different
boys,
climates
your
as well.
Thoughts on the campaign?
Flem, I agree with, there is a difference between the 99 World Cup to this one, where we actually had to win every game, whereas Australia now have to rely on Ireland beating Zimbabwe. So we said at the start of this World Cup that we were concerned about Australia. They didn't really have their top quicks. No Cummins, no Stark, no Hazelwood. That's a massive blow, and all of a sudden the aura of that Australian team is no longer there when other teams play it. So, it's they're in a tough position without a doubt, but unfortunately not surprising.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed with the performance overnight. Australia getting that 181. As you said, Flem, run a ball in the last number of overs. Head and Marsh got Australia off to a great start. And other than Inglis and Maxwell both got 20 odd each, just had a bit better than a run of ball, but there's just precious little from everyone else. Cameron Green, no runs. Tim David, no runs. Stoinis missed out. Cooper Connolly missed out. So, yeah, look, disappointing. And then the bowling. The bowling was, has to be said, it probably wasn't as effective as it could have been. Nasanka, brilliant. 100 red inker, 100 not out. Made the Australians' attack look pretty ordinary, to be perfectly honest. I suppose we talked about no Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood. With all due respect to Xavier Bartlett, he doesn't have the same aura, does he, as the big three? And it leaves too much to do for the likes of Adam Damper. It leaves too much to do for Nathan Ellis, who I think seems to be almost carrying this Australian T20 attack. And, look, for me, Marcus Stoinis opening the bowling, I know he picked up the 2 wickets, but I'm sure we can find someone better to open the bowling for Australia.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Before the game, though, they dropped Matty Renshaw, who's coming off 37 and 65.
That's a strange decision, though.
And not playing Stephen Smith. And then Connolly went ahead of Kuhneman because of his batting, even though he's averaging 4 in his last 12 innings. So just even to discuss that, decisions by the selectors.
Cooper Connolly's been getting a very good run. And at some point, as a player, we all know he's a fine young player. There's absolutely no question. Of that, we're all very sure. We've seen him do really well in BBL and the like. But at some point, you've got to repay the faith of the selectors. And right now, Cooper Connolly, and I think to a lesser extent Cameron Green, that they're just not repaying the absolute faith that has been given to them by the selectors. We know Cameron Green's a generational talent. He's a fantastic young cricketer. But there comes a point in time where you need to actually put performance on the board to justify your spot in the team. I thought it was a mind-blowing decision to leave Matt Renshaw out of the team. I mean, he was picked specifically in that squad because he is a good player in the middle against slower bowling. He was identified. That's what we were told from the selectors. That's why he was specifically picked in this squad. And then he top scores in the last game and he's not playing this game. That makes absolutely no sense. That should be a please explain. The SOS went out to Steve Smith and he's not in the 11. So I think there's a lot of dialogue that he should have been in that squad from the get-go. Understanding the reasons why he wasn't put in that squad initially, as he has had opportunity in T20s for Australia in the past. Maybe they're looking to go forward, but I think Mark Waugh's been very vocal, hasn't he, in the media about Steve Smith being in the squad. It's not like Junior to have an opinion, but look, he's been very vocal, and I think he's been pretty close to the mark, to be perfectly honest. To give a batsman a little bit of credit, he's probably been close to the mark.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And sort of Mitch Marsh was a little surprising. I thought at one stage he might have been out of the T20 with that injury he sustained. Pretty dodgy one.
You got hit in the nuts, basically.
Pretty much, and a little bit. I think a little bit worse than that, wasn't it? So whether him coming back in, Steve Smith. I thought Steve Smith was a replacement for Mitch Marsh, but then Josh Hazelwood's not there, so it's all up in the air. So you're wondering, what's happening? Who's making the selections? Captains obviously have input. The coach, the selectors. It's all over the place.
Just on that, Pidge, it's really interesting that Steve Smith got called up and he was the one to replace Josh Hazelwood.
Like for like?
That's what I'm asking. Like, is that... So you could argue, is there a little bit of, I suppose, media pressure because there's been so much emphasis on Steve Smith not being there? Do you think the selectors have just gone, well, let's get him in there? But we've got a spot available now. Let's pick him. We feel we've got our bowling resources sorted. We probably know that seam bowling isn't going to play a huge role. We need someone who can navigate the slow bowling on these surfaces. So I suspect that's the reasoning behind it. But yeah, it's certainly, as you said, Pidge, it's not a like for like.
Yeah, and if the selectors are watching this, maybe they bring Smith in for the next match against Demand. just and see how he goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting, boys, even with the actual structure within the team, how Stephen Smith didn't play. Well, I missed that, did I?
Sorry, just keep going, Flem. It's all good. I was talking about the pressure match against Oman. Might be a good one to bring him in. But anyway, that's fine.
Yeah, we can edit out that and I'll laugh. Watch this. We'll edit that laugh back in there too.
I think we don't even edit it. We just play it straight through.
But it's like even the squad itself was always relying on injured players, Cummins, Hazelwood, Mitchell Marsh to a degree, Nathan Ellis to a degree, and Tim David.
And Glenn Maxwell badly out of form during BBL, Flem.
And with, Cam Green for me has to bowl. If he's not bowling and to play as a pure batsman, I don't think he's got that many credits in the bank. And then also David at 4, for me, I love him finishing. So it's almost like we've got a lot of finishers, as in David, Maxwell. I think Stoinis could bat 4, to be honest. He does that for the Stars, but his role's been a finisher for Australia. So I just think they're out of whack with actually the team structure there. So for me, Stephen Smith should have been batting 3.
Yeah, I think you make an excellent point there, Flem, regarding Cameron Green. Because if he's not bowling, then what the selectors are saying is that he's a better player than Steve Smith. That's essentially what's being said. But in my view, and I completely agree with you, if he's not bowling, I just can't see how he justifies a spot in that side.
No, and the thing is, he could potentially open and then a Bartlett misses out and then you're playing
that's right.
an extra batsman because, Cooper Connolly so far in his career has not shown that he can make runs at international level. He's only 22. There's a lot to work at. But also with his bowling, it's a bit different bowling well in the BBL compared to these international batsmen, as we saw. And, you look at, just to finish up with Australia, because Sri Lanka were fantastic as well. We were 5 for 160 with 23 balls to go with a lineup of batsmen that are finishers. So you're expected to get well over 200 there, aren't you?
No, without a doubt, Flem, without a doubt. And that's it. What happened? We didn't get to finish the way we did, bowled out for 181. I know it's turning tracks, and Australia have never really been that good on turning tracks, but still, it's in a game like that, it's so important.
And what about Sri Lanka?
Well, Sri Lanka were excellent, weren't they? We talked about Nasanka, who's just absolutely brilliant at the top there. Kusal Mendes got 51 off 38 balls. So they chased that down easily. They did it by the 18th over. So they had plenty of time to get that. I thought the Australian bowling attack was average and just no one was able to step up. And it just doesn't have the aura, I suppose, for a better term of phrase, of Australian teams in recent past. And, we need to start looking, just wonder that bowling attack just didn't really do it for me. I think there's too many bit part players. Maybe I'm a little bit old school, but, let's get your best 6 batting options and your best 4 bowling options. And then your all-rounders. I think if you have too many all-rounders, I don't know. Yes, it can work, but we saw last night that in that situation it clearly didn't, because you didn't have any, real impetus with the ball.
But also, Pigeon Diz, I looked up the BBL numbers. There's not many players unlucky not to get a game. Our best performing fast bowler was Peter Siddle at 41 years of age. So we're actually got a bit of a dearth of actually quality T20 players.
Yeah, you're probably right. And you look at Sids there, you look at guys like Josh Hosewood, Jasprit Bumrah, they bowl good, hard test match length, hitting the deck. So do we have, bowlers? Should we be looking more at those quality bowlers? Do we have those bowlers with that control? Or T20 is all about changing deliveries, bowling, several different deliveries every over and not having the exact control. So, it's a concern when you look at Hazelwood, at Cummins, at Stark. They're not spring chickens anymore. Who's the next cabs on the rank? And it's a little concerning.
Yeah, and it's also the pure pace. We look at New Zealand. Great to see Lockie Ferguson back in, but Matt Henry and that, they went with bouncers basically and ultra slower balls.
Yeah,
but those boys have got serious wheels there as well. And just as Sri Lanka, I think they're in a great position, aren't they? You know, Mendes, I think he's his third 50 of the tournament. Their spin, they're all brilliant. But Chamira bowled well. He closed it out. You know, that bouncer to get Inglis out was an absolute ripper. So once again, someone with a really quick bouncer for the fast bowlers having real impact.
And then you have a look at, and in comparison to Australia, just circling back to the Australian bowling attack, you go through what the Australian structure was. It was Bartlett, Stoinis took the new ball, then Ellis, then you had Connolly, Zampa, Maxwell. We had Cameron Green in the 11, didn't bowl a ball. Had Ben Dorshus sitting on the pine. Just not quite sure the Australians got their selections right.
Yeah, and for me, if I'm looking at that Australian lineup, I'm just saying don't let Alice and Zampa get wickets. And then we've all been in that position before. If I know Zamps went for a bit in Alice, but then you actually start searching because you know you're the bowler that's got to get wickets. You know, you can change your game plan a bit.
Yeah, and Zampa's got a great record at T20. And, the last two games, I think he's been wicketless, hasn't he? So hasn't had the impact he would have wanted.
So, I mean, you look at Group A, it's going to be India and Pakistan. Like, India absolutely thumped Pakistan, didn't they? Sri Lanka and probably Zimbabwe. West Indies have been good, haven't they?
West Indies have been very good.
England up and down.
Ooh.
And South Africa and New Zealand, quality.
Yep. I think that you're exactly right. I think they're the makeup of the quarterfinals for sure. I just can't. I can't see Zimbabwe. I think the only way Australia have a sniff is if Ireland beat Zimbabwe, but Zimbabwe are actually playing pretty decently. You mentioned West Indies in that group. England have been interesting. They scraped home, but basically Italy. That wasn't a convincing win against Italy, and it certainly wasn't a convincing win against Nepal. So they are a talented team, England. There's no question about that. They're just trying to find their mojo. So they could be a smoky later in this tournament. But for me, India are looking very good. Sri Lanka are looking very good. And for me, South Africa are looking very, very good as well.
South Africa had a bit of a scare there in a double super over. And to be honest, against Afghanistan, anything could have happened there. England could have quite easily lost against Nepal. And to be honest, I think they should have. They got lucky in the end not to close it out. So even though those things have happened, I think the rest of the table is looking as we thought it would. It's just the Australians have been replaced by Zimbabwe, probably going into this to the last 8.
Can we just touch on last night's game that England played? I mean, they got 202 for 7 against Italy. Will Jacks came in 53 runs, red inker off 20-odd balls. They had Salt, Curran and Banton all got starts, so they got a good score. But the Italians, with a bit of Aussie flavour in there, managed to get 178 and led by South Australia's Ben Menenti with 60 off, would you believe, 25 balls. I think he hit 6 sixes. Justin Mosca, 43 off 34, and Grant Stewart, another Aussie who plays for Kent in the county championship. He punched out 45 off just 23 balls. So they certainly haven't let themselves down, Italy. I think they've punched above their weight a little bit and have done quite well.
Well, they had their first World Cup win. They're probably still riding high, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I've actually, I'll see if Davo, I said, what did they sing after the game? So there's some footage from the bus having a sing along. So I'll see if we can get that on the pod here now.
That'd be great.
But it hasn't been a bad World Cup for the Minnows, has it? Like the USA have won 2. Zimbabwe upset Australia. Ireland have a win. Scotland have got a win. Italy 1 win, but have pushed other teams. The UAE have had a win, and Afghanistan only 1 win, but they could have beaten South Africa there as well. So I think it's been a good tournament with the increased teams. Yeah, there hasn't been too many thrashings.
I absolutely love it. And it's a World Cup, and that's what we want. Like, we want more teams playing. We want to keep growing the game, and we want to give incentives for the smaller nations and the smaller cricketing nations to, World Cups are their big thing. That's what they build up to. They build up for. They go and play all these associate competitions to try and qualify. Look, I think it's great, and I think it's great to continually grow our game. I've always been critical of tournaments where it's just been 8 teams. I know people talk about the one-sided contest, but how do they get better? How do the associate countries get better and improve if they're not exposed to high-level international cricket? So for me, a World Cup is just that, a World Cup. You get as many teams in as possible. And I think it's just created some good moments. And, we've talked about Italy, we've talked about Nepal, we've talked about, the Scots coming up with a win. Zimbabwe, yes, they're a full member nation, but they're probably in that second tier and beating Australia. So, I think it's just great for the game.
Okay, that finishes up. We'll be wrapping up, hopefully, Ireland beating Zimbabwe and getting the Aussies in. So we'll be wrapping up the finals in the next couple of weeks here. But 21 years ago today, back in 2005, February 17, the first International T20 was played. And the great man, Glenn McGrath, played in that. It was in Auckland, New Zealand versus Australia. But you'll talk more about it, Pidge, but there was a bit of a fun vibe to it. Like the New Zealanders basically rocked up in, it looked like New Zealand pajamas. There was dodgy moustaches. Hamish Marshall's hair, do you remember how he really frizzed it up high?
It was huge.
Craig McMillan went with the lamb chops. I think even Stephen Fleming rocked a moustache there. And for the Aussies, they went on to win. Ricky Ponting, 98 not out. There was controversy, though, Jason. Glenn McGrath was bowling and he actually bowled an underarm.
No.
An underarm.
No, I don't think he didn't. He went to bowl one, and my memory is Billy Bowden. Was he flashing you a red card or something, Pidge, or a yellow card?
Well, if you go back, what was it from then? Back 24 years prior, in February at the MCG third final, Australia playing New Zealand, and that was a infamous match where Trevor Chappell did bowl a slower ball. Underarm delivery off the last ball when New Zealand needed 6 runs to win, not even to tie. Sorry, not even to win. And the Kiwis have, I don't think they've ever got over it, to be honest. Probably rightly so. But so I thought I'd just have a bit of fun. Walked up, pretended to, didn't let it go. The crowd got behind me and supported me on that one. And Billy Bowden, pulls out the red card, trying to send me off, disgraceful. So, but that was, I guess, the whole theme of that T20. Back then it was a bit, hit and giggle, have a bit of fun. That's what, nobody thought the potential of what it was going to grow into. And like you said, Flem, New Zealand had those when World Series first came about, those the light brown one-day outfits on. They wore the curly wigs, and we just thought a bit of a hit and giggle. So you had a bit of fun, and it was a little bit loose, but and that's how it was. And that first game was good fun, especially at Eden Park there in Auckland.
And Pidge, did you feel like, the teams at the top went, this is the start of something massive, or at that stage did you think it was still, just going to be a little bit of, fun and a bit of giggle every now and again? Was something that after that it was going to continue to grow like it has today?
Yeah, not really. No, I think, and the way both teams took it, the way the Kiwis got dressed up and, like I said, we just thought it was a hit and giggle. That's the way you go out. It's 20 overs. What can you do in that time? And just go out and have some fun. And we didn't take it that seriously, and no one knew what it was going to grow into. And I think, with it evolving, with the IPL starting and how that's grown and the franchise cricket around the world, I don't think anyone realised the potential of it back then, but obviously now it's massive.
Well, I think Casper took forfeit and he said, I think it's difficult to take it seriously, but Ponting said after the game, if it does become an international game, then I'm sure the novelty won't be there for all time. So Punter, not for the first time in his career, was on the money.
Yeah, he certainly was. And I remember we played a T20 game in England in 05, and I remember we had a 3-hour training session. It was down in Southampton. I think we trained for about 3 hours leading up to the game on the nursery ground. And then we come and play, and I think it surprised a few of us just how serious England took the match, because we saw it more as a bit of a novelty. It's not that we didn't take it seriously, but we were sort of eyeing off the one day and then the test series and that. But England came out, knocked us over for next to nothing after they posted a big total. And I think we realised there that I've certainly felt that this game has some legs. It had been played for a few years, the T20 Blast in England beforehand. So England had a lot of history with it. So or had some experience with it, whereas it wasn't. And if you remember when it first came out in Australia, the state-based games, I mean, we had nicknames on the back of our shirts. I think Joey Johns played for New South Wales. So that's where you could probably argue that's where Australia saw it at the time. And then really, once India won that T20 World Cup with a youthful team, that's when the whole landscape of cricket changed for me. That's when cricket as we know it pivoted overnight almost.
Okay, that's the end of our T20 wrap. Hey, Diz, do you have a VB long neck hard working fast bowler award?
Yeah, I do. The VB long neck hard working fast bowler award presented by VB.
The golden
over 18s only. Please make sure we drink responsibly. Look, I've just been going through the day one of the Sheffield Shield has just gone. We've had a number of games, and I want to give a shout out to Liam Hatcher against New South Wales versus Tasmania. They knocked over Tasmania for 136 in the day-night fixture there down at Bellareve Oval, and Liam Hatcher from New South Wales got 5 for 51, which is a great effort. Up at the Gabba, you've got South Australia playing Queensland. And I'll give a shout out to Liam Scott, young all-rounder who's doing very well the last couple of seasons, 5 for 33 off 15.5 overs. So well done to Liam Scott. But look, I'm going to go a rookie. Hardest working fast bowler, a kid playing his first Sheffield Shield game on the back of making his first one-day appearance for South Australia. Left-arm swing bowler, Campbell Thompson. Got a couple of wickets, but his figures, unbelievable. 14 overs, boys. 8 maidens, 2 for 16 in his first hit out for his state. So for me, the VB, long neck, hardest working fast bowler, I'm going to give it the DK salute to young Campbell Thompson from East Torrens here in South Australia.
Very good, Diz. Very good.
Yeah, great to hear. Isn't it great to hear? I saw his first over to Usman. He was all over it. So he wasn't too nervous in his first over, but
yeah, he's been in and around the South Australian setup for a few years, like coming as a net bowler, and then he got on the rookie contract list. And what that's done is it's allowed him to train more, go in that professional environment. He's put on half a yard of pace, and that's what he needed. He's moved up from that sort of high teens to low 120s to now mid to high 120s and even nudging 130k an hour. So if you're doing that and you're swinging the ball consistently, you're in the game. And I did watch him. I was there with the ABC between the first and second test, the PM's 11 versus England in that 2-day pink ball game. And Campbell played there and bowled really well to the English and showed he had a lot of potential. So it's great to see him playing for South Australia. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well done. And thanks to VB, been a wonderful sponsor for the podcast as well. Okay, time for our top 5 T20 quicks of all time. You know, going back 21 years ago, Pigeon played in the first international between Australia and New Zealand. Who wants to go first?
I'll let Diz go. Well, do you want me to go first, Diz, or you with your? You'll come up with some theory of how you're going to work it out.
I'll go first. I'll go with the
okay, we love it, Diz.
Sorry, Diz.
So, look,
one thing. So, is this T20s across the board or international?
Yes.
I went more international T20s, but
you can go international. That's fine.
Same with me.
I don't think it. Yeah. So I don't think it. So you went international as well, Flem?
Yep, but it was up to you. You said all along you've looked at everything: IPL, BBLs, international, Pakistan Super League, everything.
Well, yeah, I've looked at everything, but all the bowlers that I've got are international bowlers anyway. They've played a lot of international cricket. They've played a lot of cricket around the world. So look, I deep dived into all the numbers, and I like to combine strike rates, averages, economy rates. I like to just put it in the melting pot and to come up with the bowlers that I think have been most effective in T20 cricket. I want to start first, though, by making an acknowledgement, and I know he's not a fast bowler, but overnight, Rashid Khan, the great Afghanistan spinner, has just picked up his 700th, would you believe, 700th T20 wicket.
Unbelievable.
It's really quite extraordinary. I think in international cricket, he's got near on 200 wickets at about 13 or 14. So for him to get 700 T20 wickets in franchise cricket, I think it's unbelievable. But I did see a stat this morning, boys, and I thought I'd just share this quickly. The first to 700 wickets in world cricket. So we've had someone got in first-class cricket, the first man to get 700 first-class wickets. It was William Lillywhite, England versus Kent in 1840. He got the first. He's the first to 700 wickets. So for List A cricket, you have to go. This was a game, and you boys could well have been playing this game. Pakistan versus Australia. The great Wasim Akram got his 700th wicket. Pakistan versus Australia in 1998. List A wickets, so 50 over cricket. And then obviously overnight, the great Rashid Khan against the UAE, the T20 World Cup 2026. He's the first man to reach 700 T20 wickets. So I thought that was a really interesting stat, boys, to just throw in.
You're a historian as well, aren't you? You're a historian. You love your stats. If this was the movie Hangover, you'd be playing Alan. You're our Alan.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So, right, look, I'll get into my top five. I'm going to just make a couple of quick, some bowlers of note that just missed out, who I thought have had great T20 careers. So the likes of Dirk Nannes, Dale Steyn, Alfonso Thomas, Sean Abbott's got a very good record, as has Kagiso Rabada, Yasser Arafat, looking back in the time. Harris Ralph has got a great career. The great Tim Southey from New Zealand has got exceptional numbers. I mean, he's got 300 and best part of 350 wickets. But drum roll, please. Jason Gillespie's top 5 all-time T20 bowlers coming in at number 5. And this guy just pipped the great Bangladesh seamer Mustafizur Rahman, who was 6th on my list. This man, 327 wickets from 229 games, an average of 20.81. Got Hassan Ali from Pakistan. That's my number 5. Number 4, this man, 217 T20 wickets from 158 games. A fantastic economy rate of 7.93. He's not known to be the most economical bowler. I'm going to go Mitchell Starc, number 4. Now, this man, the top 3. This was really interesting exercise, and I thought these guys would feature. I wasn't sure which order, but number 3, with an average of 20.36 and an economy rate of 6.92, I'm going Jasprit Bumrah. Bear in mind, this is all T20s, not just internationals. Yeah. Number 2, this man got 222 T20 wickets from 167 games, an incredible strike rate of 15.8. And that's the Pakistani seamer Umar Gul. And then number 1. Now, I'm pretty sure there's going to be no surprises here. This man played just a tick under 300 T20 games, 390 wickets, with a strike rate of 16.6, an economy rate of 7.07, considering when he bowled,
Steady.
and an average under 20, is the great Sri Lankan Malinga the Slinger. Lasith Malinga is my number 1 T20 bowler that's ever played. There you go, lads. That's my top 5.
Yeah, not bad, Diz. Not bad.
Bloody great list.
Very good. Very
Not
good.
bad bowlers, to be fair.
What about when you talk about Umar Gull and you go, oh, he's had his stroke, got a wicket every 15 balls.
Yeah.
Like when we were growing up,
madness,
like if you got a wicket every 50 balls, it was unreal.
Yeah.
It is bad.
But the thing I remember about Umar Gul, because he sort of did really well in the early days of T20 cricket and T20 national cricket. But I remember he used to come on and bowl the 14th, 16th, 18th, 20th over. He would just come in and bowl 4 overs of Yorkers and did it really effectively at good pace. So, yeah, he did a great role for Pakistan. And then when he played in domestic T20. But, no, fantastic.
Very good, Diz.
All right, Pidge, fire away.
Yeah, so I went slightly different option on this one. I went international T20s.
Fantastic.
I go a couple of acknowledgements that similar to what you made at the start. Mitchell Starc only took 79 international wickets. Josh Hazlewood also 79. I tend to think, Josh Hazlewood's up there with the best at the moment around the world, when he's on the park, but he didn't get the 100 international wickets. So I left him out. Dale Steyn, there's so many others. So my top 5, I'll start with number 5. I've moved your number 6 up to my number 5, Mustafizur Rahman. He's taken
Fantastic
158 T20 wickets, 126 matches, strike rate of 17, average of 20.9. Economy of 7.28, so not bad. Best figures, 6 for 10. That's not a bad day at the office. So I put him in at my number 5. I put in number 4 from New Zealand, Tim Southey. He is the leading international wicket taker for a fast bowler. He's also played 126 games, same as Rahman there. He's taken 164 wickets. Average of 22.8, economy rate of 8, strike rate of 16.7, best bowling of 5 for 3. Again, these things can happen, I guess, in T20 cricket. So that's my number 4 and 5. Number 3, you mentioned him as your number 1, Lasith Malinga. He played 84 T20s for Sri Lanka, 107 wickets. Average of 20.79, strike rate of 16, economy of 7.42, which is pretty handy. Best bowling of 5 for 6. So he's my number 3. Now, my number 1 and 2, I sort of tossed up, but I think there was, I separated them because of how I feel about the number 1. Number 2, Arshdeep Singh for India. He's exceptional T20, done a great job for India. 78 matches, 121 wickets, average of 19, strike rate of 13, economy rate 8.5, slightly higher, best 5 for 51. So it's not a bad day. You've gone for a few, but to pick up 5, it's good. So I put
good strike rate.
I know 51. Where you're throwing them around, and they're played a few shots. But my number 1, Jasprit Bumrah, T20s, 89 matches, 110 wickets, average of 18.6, strike rate of 17.1, average of 6.5, and the best figures of 3 for 7. So you look at but the funny thing I've noticed when you look at the international stats against the rest of their T20 stats, they're all very similar. So the strike rate's very similar, the economy's very similar, the average is very similar. So there's occasional little bit of a standout, but across the board, that's one stat that really surprised me. So, but for international cricket, with taking over 100 wickets.
No, it's a great list, Pidge. Great list.
And the other thing that's
wonderful bowlers.
The other thing that surprised me looking at all those stats, I remember when T20 came about and it was really taking off, they said it was going to be the death of spin bowlers. It was going to be the death. They were going to struggle. But I reckon the top 15 out of the top 20 are all spinners. It's amazing how they've seemed to have adapted to T20 cricket really well. But the bowlers, fast bowlers, I think there's still a bit of work for them to do to adapt and move quickly with the innovating. We've seen the batsmen innovate a lot more. Bowlers have to come back. I still say the two best international bowlers at the moment, Jasprit Bumrah and Josh Hazlewood, because they hit good quality lengths, and it's still hard to play shots against good deliveries. But they're my top 5, and some pretty decent bowlers there.
No, it's an excellent list, Pidge, and some great bowlers. And I know, looking through my list, sorry to Flem, going through a number of those bowlers you mentioned, their numbers are getting better and better. And, I was really pleased you mentioned Arshdeep Singh, because his T20 numbers across franchise cricket as well as international are getting up there with some of the greats of the game. So, and that's thoroughly deserved. He pitches the ball up, he swings the ball. And he's got some good changes of pace. So, look, very good, mate. Excellent list.
Yeah, very good insight there, Pidge. And just on that best bowling figures, 5 for 50. I remember a great man, or mate of ours, Brett Lee Bigger. I think you might have played in it, boys. He went for over 200 in a test match against India, and he had 4 for. So he reckons he deliberately bowled wide because he didn't want 5 for 202 on the boards. Very shrewd man, Brett Lee.
He is. And Dizzy and I, we used to love when bowlers picked up their 100. We'd ride around on the motorbike, like the sidecar. I'm not sure. What is it with the 200? Do you have a sidecar each side of the motorbike? Or what?
I do remember specifically one game, Pidge. I was walking back to my mark. I'm in the pit of misery. I've just brought up my 100 with the ball. And then, Flev, I kid you not, Pidge is sitting there at mid-off. He's just bending down, going... And I'm thinking, oh, thanks, Pidge. You're meant to be my one bloke to back me up out here, and you're absolutely rinsing me.
A lot of good times, Diz. A lot of good times.
Absolutely.
If it's not you today, it'll be you tomorrow. And I still question what's more nerve-wracking. We wouldn't know, but being in the 90s with the bat or the none for 90s with the ball.
Oh,
I reckon
none
it's
for
more
90s with the ball. Easily. Easily. You're setting offside field, you're setting an 8-1 field and hanging it, aren't you?
All right, I'll do my top 5. These are international fast bowlers. The unlucky ones, Bhuvi Kumar from India, swung the ball, great slow balls. Umar Gull, like as you said, he was one of the originators that dominated T20 cricket. Mitchell Stark, we know how good he is with the new ball and old. The Fizz from Bangladesh, such good a change of pace. And Dwayne Bravo, who was probably the first moon bowler, that ultra slower ball. And even though he wasn't ultra quick, geez, he had a good bouncer. So, he sort of, I think, was an inspiration for Sam Curran. But number 5, I'm actually going Shaheen Afridi from Pakistan. Now, I know he's not in the best form at the moment, didn't have a great BBL, but early on, wow. And in World Cup,
his record's very good.
Left arm action with the new ball and also bowling, at the death. So I've got Afridi at 5. At 4, I've got the Hazlewood hallway of hesitation.
Oh,
big
love
off.
it.
And just battering that line and length with the odd knocker ball, isn't it? Like I think he's evolved his game to go back to that type of bowling there. So Hazlewood at number 4. Number 3, I'm going to go Tim Southey. He's taken the most wickets, swinging with the new ball. Great off cutter as well. So I think he's and great record away from home. So he didn't just dominate New Zealand, particularly in the subcontinent. He found a way. Number 2, I'm going Bumrah. You know, what more can we say? He's a threat with the new ball. Give him an over in the middle order, particularly if you get a wicket, and then bowling at the death. That late release, the hyperextension. And number 1, I'm going with, like you, Diz, it's the slinger Malinga. When I think of T20 cricket when it started, Malinga just absolutely dominated, didn't he? Swing with the new ball. And then that reverse swinging in swingers. We saw it a lot for the Melbourne Stars. You know,
well, he got six or seven, didn't he,
for
the Melbourne Stars?
Yep.
Against the Scorchers. But, you know, and we know he worked so hard on his skills. So for me, the greatest international T20 fast bowler of all time is Lasith Malinga from Sri Lanka.
Very good.
Flemmo, that's an excellent list, mate. And just on Malinga, I remember being early in my coaching days, and you know, I'd sort of go and watch what the best players would do, and I'd watch Malinga warm up in games, and he'd literally just have, you know, how bowlers bowl to a stump before each game and stuff. He would get a shoe or a pair of shoes and put them where the batter would stand, and he'd just look to hit it. If it wasn't a pair of shoes, he'd put a baseball mitt. And the number of times he would hit that it was really extraordinary. He just, there's no secret. The more you practice and get better at things, you do get better at things. And, you know, just seeing him go about his work, he was very methodical about how he prepared and got himself ready. So it's, no surprise to me. Look, I think both your lists were awesome. I think what it highlights is that, geez, there's been I know spin has, I suppose, dominated T20 cricket, but, gee, there's been some bloody good quicks who've plied their trade around the world, both internationally and in the franchise space. So, look, absolutely brilliant. And, great list, boys. Well done.
Okay, gentlemen. That's it. To the listeners and viewers, thanks for tuning in, and hope you're loving the Fast Bowling Cartel podcast. Drop a comment with some of your takes on this T20 World Cup or guests that you want to hear from. Make sure you like and subscribe. But that's me, Damien Fleming, signing off with Glenn McGrath, Jason Gillespie. We will catch you next time on the Fast Bowling Cartel.
See you, boys.
Cheers, boys. Well done.
Cheers, boys.
See you, gentlemen.